Imperialism. So, yep, they're imperialistic. Death cult. This society's religion is built around periodic ritual sacrifice. Willing initiates devote themselves to a decade of study before meeting an end whose effects ripples throughout their culture. Their theocracy, an imperial cult, has a dominant state religion where the ruler is worshipped as a living deity. Undead counselor, neocracy, theocracy, imperial cult, death cult, and yeah, so that's all the ones. Ooh, jingoistic dictatorship. This dictatorship is a stratocratic form of hierarchy where the government keeps the population under a constant fear of external threats to justify endless wars and military interventions. Contempt for others. This country openly abuses other countries and people to satisfy its self-esteem. Naval traditions. In the society's early days, they ruled their planet with massive fleets of warships. Their knack for war on the water transitioned quite well to battles in space. Police state, imperialism, and stratocratic, which is basically the army rules the country. So, yeah. As we can see, another one of these. So, again, nobility rule the country. Elective kingdom. Kingdom is an aristocratic form of oligarchy where the prince-electors gather together in the House of Lords to elect a new monarch among them and serve as an advisory body. They have naval traditions, police state, covert service, streamlined process, but they're a monarchy. Kleptocratic, the rule of the thieves. This society has few things sacred. To steal is to live, and the cunning may seize whatever they covet. It's a police state, streamlined process. Trading nation. This country is based on trade, and the benefits from trade cannot be ignored. Local level education system. Education in this country is largely left to the local level, and it is difficult for the state to influence local authorities of education. A ravenous hive once again. Only slightly different. Still a devouring swarm, strengths of legions, but pooled knowledge. The hive mind's autonomous roams frequently. Share knowledge through direct links, bypassing the hive mind's slower registry process. Natural neural network. The grey matter of clustered drones provides unparalleled parallelism, accelerating the hive mind's exploration of the sciences. Divided attention. The hive mind can divide its attention for maximum efficiency without losing sight of the bigger picture. So, it's still a ravenous hive though, so nothing really new. Congressional Republic. Let's see if I can... Yeah, there is nothing new here. Except this down here. One thing. It's still a Congressional Republic. So... Oh, and Anglers also. Adept at utilizing nature's bounty, this society provides for itself a stable influx of sustenance and economic value. Okay. Those who consider themselves masters of the biosphere and to have the moral right to exploit nature and its resources for the sake of their own prosperity will grow beyond those who are afraid of progress. So, that's the biggest difference. They have a diplomatic core, political pluralism, naval traditions, diplomatic core, streamlined process. Yeah. You can tell that I repeat all of them. Okay, natural heritage. Like, that's a congressional republic, this is a parliamentary. Natural heritage, political pluralism, functional architecture, but liberal education. Here we are. A liberal education is a system or course of education suitable for the cultivation of a free human being. A philosophy of education that empowers individuals with broad knowledge and transferable skills and a stronger sense of values, ethics, and civic engagement. Fanatic pacifist. As civilized beings, the end of all armed conflict should be our primary concern. War is an evolutionary dead end, as futile as it is wasteful. Multiculturalism. This country has a maximum tolerance for all cultures and has achieved multicultural coexistence. Okay, automated vessels. This is an artificial intelligence network. This machine intelligence consists of a linked network of semi-autonomous artificial intelligences who together make up a central gestural conscious that guides their empire. And there's another shogunate down there. We're reaching the bottom, thankfully. I think I'll be able to make this one relatively short. Automated vessels. Even without a crew, our vessels can almost always find their way home. Luckily, we circumvented this problem long ago. Sovereign circuits. The units produced by this machine intelligence come equipped with autonomous decision-making software, more efficient and effective than older models. Those units nevertheless require greater power input. Integrated systems. Our vessels heavily benefit from our presence. We have no need for crews when one personality can uplink with the entire ship. Zero waste protocols. The machine intelligence has configured its manufacturing systems to minimize waste, utilizing long-lived materials and standardized replaceable parts in all products. Enhanced scanners. So, yeah. This conscious dedicates much more resource to our processors, allowing it to catch things that would go unnoticed by lesser empires. So, yeah. It catches things and details and all of that. And another shogunate. This is a cratocratic state type. It's a monarchy, and basically it's feudal Japan. This kingdom is a cratocratic monarchy with a society ruled by local warlords and clans, united under a single warrior dynasty. Functional architecture again. Naval traditions, meritocracy, police state, martial upbringing. So it's a martial state. Oh, this should be an interesting one. Here we go. Something that should hopefully, always gone bored of seeing all the same type of traits continually every single time, because, well, I have a lot of states, and all of them are the same in many ways. Citizen Confederation. This confederacy is a stratocratic form of hierarchy where full citizenship can only be gained through military service. The voting franchise franchise is limited to full citizens, and they are the only ones allowed to hold public office. Stratocratic Republic. Full citizenship and political responsibility that comes with it, limited to those who have served a tour of duty in the military service, guarantees citizenship and the right to elect and govern. Streamlined process. Stratocratic. The army rules the country. Pioneer spirit. The society always dreamed of one day reaching for the stars. Now that they have done so, they are all looking to carve out a new life in space. Military regime. In the society, professional military personnel have a strong influence on the operation of the state under the guise of political neutrality. Okay, so what have we got here? Anything new? Anything at all? Police state, political pluralism. A GS shield. This country emphasizes ironclad defenses and can turn itself into an impenetrable fortress when needed. Armed pacifism. This country believes that any army as a defensive force is believes that an army as a defensive force is necessary to keep the peace. Center of trade. This planet was frequently visited by otherworldly traders as a regional center of trade. Collective conscience. This government operates as a single conscience, with the population having no individual desire whatsoever beyond fulfilling the needs of the hive mind. Yes. Burrows. This civic drone lives and works primarily in a complicated system of underground tunnels that wind through the planetary subsurface. Cognitive focus. This hive mind is especially good at directing its focus on certain tasks at hand while still allowing for autonomous drones if needed. Inquisitive hive. This hive mind has a great fascination with natural science. As a result, it ensures that all of its research-focused drones are always able to perform at their maximum efficiency. So let's see, what does this give? Range round output 1 plus, research speed 5 plus, archaeology skill plus 2, cognitive experience gain 25. Natural neural networks. The grey matter of clustered drone provides unparalleled parallelism, accelerating the hive mind's exploration of the sciences. Strengths of legions. When you do not have to educate the mind, the building of muscle becomes that much easier. Here we go. Here we go. Now we're getting into the more we're getting into some of the newer ones, which should be interesting. Ecumenical Council. This diocese is an ecclesiastical form of oligarchy where the leaders of all religious interpretations gather together to make agreements, oversee matters of governance, and establish official dogma. The KKC. Well, let's see. So, a slave hierarchy. This social order is a slavocratic form of hierarchy where everyone is born a slave to the state and must prove they deserve freedom through obedience and productivity. Slaveocracy. The rule of the slave is in the society, slaveholders exercise uncontested political power by controlling the labor force of innumerable slaves. So, yes, this is an interesting one. Human rights for sale. You are allowed to mortgage your own and your family's human rights to pay on your debts. Contempt for others. This country openly abuses other countries and people to satisfy its self-esteem. Center of trade. caste system. This society is organized as a rigid caste system based on ancient and complex cultural traditions. Every social stratum is considered to be serving its predestined purpose. Okay, let's see. What does this add? Allows unique slave master jobs which produce unity and increase local slave output and stability. Allows construction of the planetary unique neocolonism, which adds greater jobs, greater produce some trade value, and increase local army damage. Ah, guilds, eh? Well, this is the state. Now this is the actual state that truly is hell to be in. Like, both of them are? Both of these are? Like, both of these states are? But this one especially. This empire is a slaveocratic form of monarchy where all slaves are property of the ruler who grants exploitation permits in exchange of a percentage of the revenue. Slave service. This society traditionally exploits slave labor and relies on the service of special guilds and organized to maintain their slave training and distribution. Labor magistrate. Resource output 10 plus, crime 10 minus. It has produced some trade value and increased army damage. Yep. Rule of the slavers. This society, slaveholders exercise uncontested political power by controlling the labor force of innumerable slaves. Mining league. Several large mining guilds have organized themselves into an economic union that reached a dominant position in the society. The league's contributions to the empire's economy is strong, so government relies heavily on its support. Police state. Pompous purist. Well, as I'm sure. Police state. To question any trace of dissent, population in this repressive society is carefully monitored and controlled by a large internal police force. Society is so utterly convinced of their own superiority that any attempt at diplomacy and not initiated by themselves will be utterly ignored. Ah, yes. Now, let's see. We're not far from the bottom now, so that's good. Divine Empire. This empire is a theocratic form of divine monarchy where every aspect of life is shaped by the official state religion and the ruler is worshipped as a living god. Imperial cult. This society has a dominant state religion where the ruler is worshipped as a living deity. Theocracy, obviously. In a monolithic architecture, the personality of the society is reflected in its architecture. Ours is powerful, robust, and eternal. And a channel, or is that ethereal or channel? The leader of this nation is believed to be a descendant of some deity, making people die for anything the leader wants. Build speed 20 plus monthly, 10 plus, army morale 10 plus. It's from immigration 30 plus, immigration pool 50 minus. And it's another police state, yep. Okay, so it's another theocracy, covert service, functional architecture, gravity cult though. Ever since its inception, the members of the species have had an obsession with the idea of some sort of multiverse entity that dwells within places of great mass concentration. Now that they are making their first attempt to space, this species is dedicated to finding that entity, no matter the cost. Ecumenical Council. This diocese is an ecclesiastical oligarchy where leaders of all religious interpretations gather together to make agreements and oversee matters of governance and establish official dogma. Theocracy? So they're theocratic. Healthy habits. And a junta. Yeah, you can tell that it's like getting there. We're we're seeing different stuff. This dictatorship is a statocratic form of oligarchy where power rests in a council of high-ranking military officers who oversee all matters of state. It's a police state, obviously. Patrician court. This empire is run by a collection of the most influential and established members of high society, who make decisions that help the status quo to survive into infinity. As nobles can construct the most building, and noble holding leaders gain high bond rate, which increases leader XP gain and gives the bonuses. Well, they're stratocratic, obviously, as we would have read a bit earlier. Imperialistic, and they have functional architecture. Oh, now this one's quite unique among my parliamentary republics. In fact, honestly, I have to show you the ship set first. Look at that, it has the Republic ship set. I kind of had to do this. I just could not do this. Now, political pluralism. So they have discussions about, and they debate, they have discussions. Universalism. This civilization has been driven into space in order to foster peace and friendship amongst all sentient life in the galaxy. To foster peace and friendship amongst all sentient life in the galaxy. Environmental engineers. This society has always been concerned with environmental issues, relying on science and technology in order to either mitigate the effects of natural disasters or to bend nature to their will. Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Reflection on former dictatorships, wars and acts of genocide has led to the public discovery and disclosure of wrongs for the past, present, and future. In the interest of national harmony, the permanent committees established for this purpose have had no small impact on national integration. Environmental democracy. This society is a moderate democratic system based on dealing with environmental problems and protecting nature, and each citizen has a keen sense of the environment. I did base this on the Federal Republic. And yes, that is indeed. So they're more xenophile, which is the opposite of my first state. Genetic dynasty. This empire is a clonocratic form of monarchy where the ruler's genetic material is stored and periodically cloned to maintain total security over the succession line. Police state, mining league, healthy habits. Clonocracy. The rule of clones. To prevent succession crises, the rule of this society has created backup clones that will succeed them upon their death. The clones partake in governing matters, learning with their current ruler. Archaeologist. Fanatic elitist. Fanatic materialist. Fanatic militarist, fanatic elitist, fanatic militarist, fanatic elitist, and materialist. Okay, here we go. Military Commissariat. This confederacy is a stratocratic form of polyarchy where the garrison commanders serve as political commissars that oversee the civilian matters of their respective territories. Police state, incentivize disassociation. This nation is willing to dissect and experiment on multi-species for its own biological findings. Research speed 10 plus, trust cap. Stratocracy. The rule of the army. The military has a special place above all in this society. The soldiers and commanders have special status that grants them privileges and political rights. Pompous purist. They don't really do diplomacy unless they initiate it, basically cramming education. Well, they use the cramming method of education. My original stratocracy. Keyword. Original. This was basically the first stratocracy that I ever made, just because. Military dictatorship. This dictatorship is a stratocratic form of hierarchy with the head of the military serving as the undisputed, all-powerful ruler of the police state. To question any trace of dissent, the population in this repressive society is carefully monitored and controlled by a large, internal police force. Stratocracy. The rule of the army. The military has a special place above all in this society. Soldiers and commanders have special status that grants them privileges and political rights. Ordered stratocracy, and a stratocracy, state and the military are effectively and constitutionally the same. All administrative positions are usually occupied by active or honorably discharged military officers. Lord of War. This society is headed by the Lord of War, who is also the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and Minister of Defense, and is rallying the nation's forces for war. Unconditional justice. This country believes itself to be just and others to be evil, and it deals with evil with unrestricted harshness. Though my earlier creations do not hold back on the realism. Elitist, xenophobe, fanatic militarist, materialist. A parliamentary republic, political pluralism, organic architecture, open door immigration. This society is tolerant of the acceptance of others and accepts all immigrants as long as they have not committed serious crime and natural heritage. Warlords Council. This tribe is a platform where all political and diplomatic decisions are taken by a council of the most powerful warlords. Functional architecture. Police state, imperialism, predocratic, right to bear arms. This society recognizes the freedom to take up arms for the noble goal of protecting individual liberty. Here we go. Another pontificate, so, once again, a state like, imagine the papal state, the medieval age. Imperialism, theocracy, life cult. Those people who believe that the thing most deserving of belief is the spirit of life. To that end, they do what they can to change life into a spitting image of the divinity that they believe in. Crusader spirit and ascensionist. Look at that. Another jingoistic dictatorship. I'm just gonna, since we've done quite a few of them now, I think you know what's here. Okay, functional architecture, stratocratic republic, political pluralism, free haven, but this is a big difference. Firm defender. People of this race do not find open battle with the enemy a desirable truth. They rather build impenetrable walls through fleet and bases to defend till the end. So yeah, they're defensive. Ascendant meritocracy. They're very meritocratic. Political pluralism. Industrial democracy. Something slightly different at least. A type of market economy where regular workers have a significant amount of control over what companies they work for, do with what companies they work for, do with responsibility being shared among all. Consumer society. This country maintains a stable society by wasting large amounts of consumer goods. Cosmic scale libertarian. Nothing new here. Well, let's see. Once again, aristocratic state, streamlined process, police state, obviously, Covert, ascensionist. But this is different. This principality is an aristocratic form of hierarchy where the institutions and territories of the state are given to noble families to manage and inherit as property. Feels nice when stuff is different, doesn't it? Oh, I'm sure many people would have noticed now, just that thing at the bottom there. Now, chiefdom. This dictatorship is a cratocratic form of hierarchy where the warrior who is considered the strongest among all rules with absolute power over the warlords and chieftains. Police state? Obviously. To quash, it's obviously a police state. Streamlined process. Cratocracy. This society has developed into a hardy warrior culture. Martial prowess is valued above all else, and true glory can only be found on the field of battle. Machines are machines are friends. In this society, robots are given human rights, and robots and systems live happily together throughout the city. Mechanical pop assembly speed 10+, robot upkeep 10+. A pirate republic. This republic is a kleptocratic form of oligarchy ruled by a council, the most prestigious pirates and buccaneers that have come together to form a common pirate code. All rules are only suggestions. Kleptocratic, irreversible industrialization. As a result of the over-industrialization, the planetary environment has been irreversibly destroyed, or so we believe. Healthy habits, crime haven. The society stands on the egalitarian value that freedom must be secured, thus, unless the crime is unnecessarily violent, the society does not put anyone on responsible for the crimes, regardless of their negative sense. Those ideals attract political exiles, criminals, and refugees. The society could be seen both as a land of freedom and as a land of freedom or lawless slum. War engineers. The focus of this society's scientific progress has traditionally shifted towards applied military developments. Political Bureau. I have very few of these types. This republic is a bureaucratic form of oligarchy where high-ranking functionaries representing their respective departments form a central committee that decides all matters of governance. Court politics. This country has a court of aides, high-ranking officials, and others around the head of state. Various important matters are decided behind closed doors. Cramming education. Cramming is a method of education that places an emphasis on increasing the amount of knowledge by rate or aims to increase knowledge. Bureaucracy. The rule of the functionaries. This society functions under a complex and labyrinth system of laws that require a special class of administrators that are administrators trained from a very young age to ensure the state apparatus works properly. Common values. This society shares common values that intelligent life in the galaxy has universal value in their existence. Complex bureaucracy. Every citizen of legal age must hand over parts of their time to the state's administrative apparatus to generate a sense of belonging to a much greater whole. To maintain... Pretty good, right? Not bad. Ecclesiastical empire. As an ecclesiastical monarchy where no religion is widely employed in the state apparatus and imperial legitimacy emanates from the church. Police state, although they have an internal police force, a large one at that. Imperialism, so, you know, they're very imperialistic. Theocratic, so they're a theocracy, so they believe in religion. A luminosity cult, any religious system belief of some level importance of light, a source of faith. This society simply takes that idea and expands it into the primary focus. Adventurous pioneers. This society has a long-established nomadic tradition and a strong adventurous spirit. People tend to vastly expand their territories, resettling as widely as it is possible. Judicate. So it's ruled via judges, where the higher ruler is in charge of supervising the legal system and reforming the law to ensure efficient governance. So it's a hierarchical judge dictatorship. Court politics, the Covert service, cramming education, and a diplomatic corps. The society has a long tradition of rhetoric and debate and celebrates those who are able to get their way using only words. Here we go. One of my original states. Free haven, so people can migrate to this state freely. Natural heritage, they're environmentalists. They're even more strongly environmentalist. Political pluralism, they do debate when it comes to topics. They debate topics. But heavy, highly productive consumer society. Makes a lot, use a lot, throw away a lot. Makes a lot, use a lot, throw away a lot. Make a lot, use a lot, throw away a lot. Work up, resource output 10 plus, specialist up resource output 5 plus, consumer goods upkeep 20 plus. They're pacifist, materialist, xenophile, libertarian. Magistral Republic. Okay, this republic is a different form of monarchy where the judicial and executive powers are merged to streamline the interpretation and application of the law. Streamlined process, police state. A state ruled by judges, basically is what that is. Center of trade, infrastructure, construction. And we've finally made it to the last one. Genetic hierarchy. This is the last state. This social order is an ethnocratic form of hierarchy where citizens are classified according to genetic standards of purity and given political rights and social privileges according to their classification. Police state. To quash any trace of dissent, the population in this repressive society is carefully monitored and controlled by a large internal police force. Ethnocracy. The rule of the genetically pure. This society is so obsessed with genetic purity and lineages that the rights and privileges of the citizenry revolve around their pool of genes. Struggle for struggle. Peace is just a period of rest between wars. War exhaustion gain 20 minus. Imperialism. A strong sense of nationalistic pride and imperialistic ambition permeates all layers of this society. warlord. Due to this society's extreme bloody history, the individuals who controlled the strongest militaries have had more power than any other influential individual. One of those commanders has managed to unite their world under their rule, ready to point their weapons out to the stars. So that was all of the states, and so that was all the states that basically I've ever created. So, yeah, it's been pretty good. Bye.